Well. Guess who's back? Me. It has been quite some time since I've had an episode of Here's the Thing. There's been a lot happening around here in our KNWA and Fox 24 studios. If you've been watching in the morning, we've transitioned our 7 a.m. show from what we call linear, which is kind of like the traditional style that you watch the news. You know, Ashley and I are sitting behind the desk and, we're delivering the news that way. We've switched to doing our 7 a.m. newscast to this format, kind of like podcast style. So we have transitioned to that. And that just took a little bit of training for our whole team just to kind of work out the kinks. So we know that some people are like, yes, love it. And some people are like, not quite used to it yet. So we're still learning every day. But that is why I have been away as we transition to our new format style. But back with my regularly scheduled program, and a couple of things to catch you up on. One, today is August 26th. As of yesterday, of course, Dolly Parton has passed away, and I have, and I'm sure yours too, is my entire timeline, my algorithm is all Dolly Parton, and well deserved. She literally is a saint, a woman who had something nice to say about everyone she met. It was interesting to see a lot of tributes to Dolly. People had a lot of great things to say about her. I didn't see not one negative thing. Eminem even posted he never met Dolly. She sent him a note after he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, just congratulating him. And she even said in the note, like, she wasn't familiar with rap music, but how she knew that he was amazing at it because of him getting inducted, and that she hoped, him continued success and, everything. And I mean, who does that? Sends a letter to somebody that you have not met to congratulate them and just say, hey, keep going. I see you. You're doing a great job. And he even said, wow, like, what an impact. Because you just never know when somebody is receiving that note, what's on the other side of that. So, of course, the world a little less brighter, but thank God Dolly left us a full catalog, 60 years of her work. So in that aspect, she still lives on. I'm going to watch Steel Magnolias. I already love that movie anyway, but love it doubly now that, we have a guardian angel and Dolly. I mean, I just cannot say enough amazing things about this woman who I actually have never met. And I've seen a lot of people even become emotional about Dolly's passing. And I saw a post from someone who said, yes, you can grieve someone that you did not know. And some people may be like, yeah, I mean, she's a celebrity, like that happened. People pass away all the time. But I mean, to this magnitude, again, someone who had something nice to say about everyone. I mean, she has her imagination library, 325 million books. I saw on social media about how many books that her program has delivered to children around the country, around the world. So Dolly, you indeed are missed. I wore pink this morning in honor of Dolly, because she was always in fun, bright colors. I tried to get my hair super big as well, but the way the humidity is working, not so much. So Dolly, I could not honor you in that way, but I did wear some pink, and I just felt really, really good. Just, channeling Dolly's spirit this morning. What's on the agenda today as I return to Here's the Thing? Well, friendship, and not just that, but how does communication work across every aspect of your life, from your friendships, from work, from your romantic relationships? So I have someone who knows me better than I know myself, honestly. So when we come back from the break, we will bring our guest in, and we're going to dive into communication and just how important it is. But maybe there's some things that you can pick up on from your communication style that you can use in your life. But maybe it can change the way you interact with the people you love most. So that's what we will get into when we come back with Here's the Thing. Good to see you. Back from our break with more Here's the Thing. So before we went to break, I said, hey, today we're going to talk about communication and how it impacts all your relationships, work, personal, your romantic relationships, as well as your friendships. So I thought it was super important to have someone who knows me very, very well. My one and only Bessie Boo, who's also had an upgrade since the last time she was here. She's now Dr. Vashonda Eason, LCSW, with Eason Counseling and Associates. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so I was texting Vashonda and I was like, hey, here's kind of what I want to do. And like, who can I talk to about these things? She's like, ma'am.
Whatever.
Me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Here's the thing, Vashonda. Here's the thing. Because you're busy. And this is the thing that my friends will tell you. I don't like to bug you guys because y'all are so busy. And I'm like, they're busy and I just don't want to bug them.
No, you always bug me. I am never too busy for any of y'all. And you know that.
Well, I appreciate you. This is something I know that you talk through with people all the time. And that is communication.
Yes.
Let's start here. If you had to name one communication mistake that shows up in nearly like all of our relationships, just across the board, what is it? Is there one?
Yeah, there is one. I think it's the listening part. We are very apt to get into a conversation with someone and we immediately want to get our case ready, like we're defending the case of our life. And we're thinking about all of the responses that we could possibly give someone instead of listening to what they are telling us. And so when that happens, we miss very important pieces of what they're trying to communicate. And so our responses are about us and not what has just been communicated to us.
Yeah, I am very guilty. Active listening. I had to tell myself last night, Raymond and I were having a conversation and I was halfway listening. I felt so bad. I was like, no, be present. Like, stop, put your phone down and listen to what your husband has to say. And it was very important to me. He was very passionate about it. And I was like, I'm terrible.
I first of all, don't understand how you are not listening when Raymond House speaks because the voice.
Yeah.
Just, resounds in the room. So it's like, oh, Raymond's talking, let's listen. But I will say, like, I am the multitasking queen. So I am that girl that has all the tabs open, doesn't know where the music is coming from, kind of a situation. And one thing, one of my coworkers will tell me, she'll be like, I will wait till you stop typing. Because if I am typing, I am not listening to a word you are saying. Mm-hmm. So the active listen piece, it's good for us to think about it in this way. If you've ever been sending a text or sending an email and then your notifications start coming through, Instagram, GroupMe, all of those things start popping up, breaking news. We have programmed our brain to notice the notifications. And so that's what we're paying attention to and not to the body of what we were trying to communicate. So really turning the notifications in our brain off to set that I'm listening to you. It is very important you might even need to make the room. Like if this is going to be a serious conversation, let me close the door. Let us both put our things away and turn the TV down and start focusing. Mm-hmm. We just get too caught up in the multitasking world that we live in that we miss some things when we're trying to talk to each other.
How would you say communication styles have changed? When you and I met, we met in college. So this is like of course, social media. This is really, Sean, like even messaging and chat era.
Right.
To now we're texting. Some people have the messaging like Teams or Slack even at work. We've got social media. Like how those communication styles changed as we've kind of, prolonged and progressed in our lives and things around us has changed.
I think we have just gone to this place of instant. Everything is instantaneously done. So if I think, hey, want to go grab coffee? I'm going to text you and I'm waiting there for you to respond to me real fast. When we lived together in the dorms, you were on a different floor, but if you wanted to leave a message for me, right, you had to write it on my board. And then when I got back from class, I would see it and be like, oh, I hope she's in her room. You just had to kind of wait for the call back and wait for those times. And so it also has sped up our conversations with each other. We're trying to hurry up and get to the point, get to the hurt. And we're not really taking that time or kind of giving ourselves the times to digest the information that's being provided to us. Everything is just poured in real fast.
Yes, that is so true. And I'm wondering too, from a communication style, when you are trying to build relationships with people. Like if you and I just met and I'm like, I would love to spend more time with you because I think you're amazing and wonderful, but we're doing it all via text or over social media. Is that wrong? Is that okay if that's kind of the nature of how you build your relationships with people?
I don't like to say that things are right or wrong. I think that everything can be a start. So definitely making the note on social media, sending a message and, hey, like I had so much fun doing whatever it was, or I see that we both have the interest in these things. I would love for us to be able to get together for lunch. And then as you get to know someone, I always tell families and couples that are trying to like reconnect, and parents that are trying to make time for their kids. It is okay to schedule something consistently every week. That's your special time that you do together. So it may be that you guys both enjoy a show. So we're going to make a plan that we're going to watch this show every week. So then as the week goes on and we're living our lives, I don't have to hurry up and get in contact with you or have this constant thing going with us because I know Sunday at 7:00 we're watching Desperate Housewives, as we used to do.
Yeah.
So those kinds of things are really important when making new friends. Like you don't want it to just be social media, just be texting. You want to make sure that you're finding ways to connect in person.
Sure. When people are at work, which work dynamics is a little bit different, right? Because you're like in a professional setting and, you're, maybe putting on a little bit of airs, if you will, because, you got to button up and act right. What are some effective ways that you've seen people communicate effectively that maybe has translated over the years and it's kind of still the same?
I do think that there's an important piece of with the active listening. When you're listening to something somebody is providing you, it is okay to like take a pause and summarize what they have just said, just to make sure that there is a level of understanding instead of letting it go all the way through and really you didn't get the first part of that. So I would say definitely engaging in that active listening and then having that verbal response or validation back to the other person. I will say one of the things that I have noticed happen is that we've tried to turn our work friends, because we spend all day with them, into our night and weekend friends, and then to our dance moms and to our sports moms. And what can happen is that we are in a sense, trying too hard to involve people in every aspect of our lives, where it's okay to have work friends. And maybe all we discuss is some of the conflicts that we're having and some of the things that are popping up in our industry. And that would be where our communication goes. You can know basic facts about my family and what we like to do on the weekend, where we vacation, but it's not necessarily for me to tell you all about my college experience. It's not missing anything from our friendship if you don't know those pieces of my life. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just accept for who you are in each other's lives at that moment.
No, and I think that's important to say because you're right. Most of us are spending, 8-9 hours at work. And by the time we get home, if you have a family, okay, work, now I'm focused on my family. But even if you don't, I can see that there could be a little bit of loneliness because you've been with these people half of the day, right? And then you go home, it's like radio silence. Some people may lean into that because it's like, whew, thank goodness. But then some people may be like, oh, well, what do I do now?
Like, what's left? I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. But that is where you're tapping into those personal interests. And so you may not have this person that you hang out with or see every single day, but it's nice to know that, I don't know, I've laugh all the time at myself. Like I get my eyelashes done every week, and that I swear my eyelash lady is my best friend. So she knows so many things, but we have that 1 hour together, and that's all we spend together, and that's okay. I think that you find different areas in your life where you make friends with people who you are engaging with, and then you're okay with that. And then you can enjoy the solace of kind of going home. It's not that you're not connected. You're just enjoying that quiet.
You mentioned, maybe as you're at work and you're trying to communicate, like, okay, I'm sending you this note to let you know that I heard you. And I'm also understanding, kind of what we talked about. Is there such thing as doing too much of that? Like, do people need to recap after every meeting that they have with people, every conversation that we have?
Yeah, so you start getting into that thing where it's like, could this have been an email? Like, do we really need to talk about this again? I do think that there can be a level of too much. And usually that is I feel like that can be a personal struggle of making sure that you're understood or not feeling understood. So you then start to over explain things. And so I would ask the question, how do you know that you've been heard? How do you, what in your body lets you know that the person across from you heard what you said, got what you said? They don't have to necessarily agree, but you know that they took your words in and they heard you.
We're going to take a quick break and we come back. Let's talk about communication when it comes to our love life, which how you communicate that as a single person versus a married person. We're both married, so I don't know how to operate as a single person. And things have changed
A lot.
So we'll get into
I
that.
have my sister, so she's teaching me.
When we come back with Here's the Thing. Back with more Here's the Thing. I'm joined today by Dr. Vashonda Eason, LCSW. Okay, just make sure. It's like the Monday-est Wednesday ever. And we are talking about communication and how it impacts just pretty much your everyday life across work, across your, romantic relationships, across your friendships. We are both married. We've been married to our partners for quite some time, but we met them in college. And there was a time where we were just kind of like, you want to be my boo? Question. What transition do we make from communication styles from when we are dating people to when we're now married to them?
I would definitely say there's in the dating phase, it's the planning, right? It's the interviewing, it's the figuring out, can I do life with this person? But once you get to the married phase in life, it's more so like everything that we do, it's an action. We are partnering and we're doing life together. So we have to truly be on the same page on how we're addressing things with our kids, with our finances. And so you have this kind of negotiation behind the room discussion before you go into action to make sure that things are going. So you're working together a lot. Dating, I'm just trying to figure out, am I going to want to work with you later on?
Right.
Yeah.
Is this like a forever thing or no? Do people in the relationship have to have the same communication styles for it to work?
Absolutely not. You just need to understand and respect the other person's style. So I'm going to, we love like we want to be loved, and we can find that gets us tripped up because we're only meeting our needs at that point. So part of a successful relationship is understanding how your partner communicates and how they love or how they need to feel loved. Remember what I said a second ago, just knowing what do I need to know walking away from the situation that I was heard and understood. How do I leave my house every day knowing that I am loved? How do I feel love from my partner? So it's very important to kind of get those things out of the way and an understanding there.
When people are in the dating phase and they are trying to figure out, like, can we do this? What are some things they should be listening for to know, like, okay, this person has a different communication style than me, but it's still something that I can work with.
I do think that they have to make sure that they are leaving themselves open to work with. Like I've talked to girls before or to young ladies before that it's like the interview process, you did not meet these, you didn't check these boxes, and so we're done. Like there's none of that. There's no room for growth.
Yes.
And sometimes we need to understand that we don't know everything or do everything the right way. So it is important to remember that flexibility and that ability to adapt to our surroundings. Makes me think of how to be a player. So we do have to learn to be able to adapt to our surroundings and to the people that we are meeting, because you could be cutting yourself close or off from future happiness.
Yeah. We both have sisters who are single.
Yes.
And it's so interesting to just think about the dating space through their eyes, right? That's really all I have.
Yes.
And it's hilarious. To your point, like, I'm interviewing you essentially. And if you don't check these boxes, goodbye.
Well, and then something to be said about our sisters as well is that don't get it twisted. These are not young girls, you know, in college still learning about life. Like they are successful, they are degreed. So, you know, you have to, the dating pool, they're going to have to come right. But even at the same time, we're like, when y'all smart ages, like y'all, come on, give a little bit.
Yeah. When we were dating our husbands, you know, of course things were different. You know, we weren't really wrapped up too tight in cell phones. It was a thing, but we weren't like wrapped up too tight in it. We also didn't necessarily have like social media to do this whole like hard launch, you know. We didn't have those things. So it's like a lot of things that we, from a dating standpoint, you know, where we hung out and stuff, we're able to kind of keep that under wraps.
Oh yeah.
Nobody knows, which is really, really great.
Yeah, I used to have to page Haven so he could call me back.
Right.
Because you couldn't have his phone number until you were like a real friend.
Right. Like you have to like graduate.
Yes.
Yes. Do you think it's harder? Was it harder for us then, do you think, than dating is now? Because there's so much at people's fingertips. You've got the apps. So maybe the meeting people has increased because, you know, maybe you're on dating apps because of social media. Maybe you started following somebody and that's how you end up connecting with somebody. Do you think did we have it harder, or does this kind of dating age now, do they have it harder?
I'm going to have to say that they have it harder now. It's just, there's so many options out there that sometimes I think we get lost in another one comes along. I can't even think of the song right now, but it's like one, miss one, next one comes right back up.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel that we don't necessarily give enough, give ourselves enough opportunity to truly learn someone once they start showing, and yes, there's red flags, but once they start showing just a little bit of a pink flag, we're like, sorry, that's not going to work for us. And we're going to move on to the next one. And who knows, you could have just walked away from your husband. I mean, we dated our guys a long time before we even moved on to the marriage phase. And so with that, we were growing and learning who we were, and we got to do that together. And I feel like that's what makes our marriage what it is today, because of all of the crazy things and mistakes we had and things that I didn't need to know about and that he didn't need to know about me just pulling up on Instagram a picture we had a weekend in Miami. Like, he didn't need to see all of those things. So I think that we just have to kind of be careful with how much information we're taking in about people. It makes us call them off short.
Yeah. Do you think there is a lot of pressure to show where you are in your life on social media now?
I think it's a sense of like oversharing. We just give people windows into our homes on a constant basis. And then we start to look at it as we have to also have something to show to match similar, or even judging ourselves based off of where we are. So everybody is getting married and having these elaborate big weddings.
Right.
And I am in a new relationship and I'm not even there yet. So something must be off with me.
Yeah. When you are chatting with young people, and I say young people because I do feel aged, like I'm over 45, guys. But when you're talking to people, maybe like, you know, in their 20s, what is something that they are struggling with when it comes to communicating with people, their needs specifically? Because, you know, if it's, you know, like your first job and I'm fresh out of college, now I'm working and I don't have that blanket of, you know, a teacher always kind of watching out for me, if you will. Now I've transitioned and now I'm going into a different phase of my life. Do you see that there's some struggle there when they're trying to communicate, like, okay, maybe this is too much for me? Or is it like grind, like I feel like we did?
It is not grind. I do feel like there is more emotions tied to it. Where kids are talking more, and I say kids because, again, I also feel like I'm the elder in the room. And so I do feel like the young people that I am talking with, that they are more free to discuss where they are at from an emotional or mental health standpoint. And yes, I understand I'm the person they're supposed to talk to about these things. But at the same time, when it comes to having the conversations about being productive or assertive, and how to stand up for themselves, I think we kind of fall more into the emotional mental health side of it instead of, I know that this is right. I know this is what I'm capable of doing and how I can show my strengths. And so sometimes it can be kind of dismissed as being too emotional. So I do think that the kids are still learning how to truly communicate where they are in life.
Yeah. How much does being extroverted or introverted also play into how we communicate with people?
I definitely feel like you're going to find maybe your introverts will be more somebody that can write you a letter or text you and let those things in order to get their feelings out, where someone that is more extroverted will have no problem standing out, saying all of the things, but then whoever they're communicating with has to kind of be able to decipher through what they're trying to communicate verbally. So I definitely think it plays a part in our approach.
How does somebody identify their own communication style?
So this is where you start asking those questions of how do I know that I've been heard? How do I know that my point got across? What do I need to see happening from the other person to let me know that we have an understanding? Now, it doesn't mean they're taking my side or that they're even can put themselves in my shoes, but that they hear that it's an issue for me and that they're going to validate me and my feelings. So answering some of those questions for yourself, then you could know, like, I need somebody to be direct with me and to say what they see and then how I process that information.
It seems like when we're thinking about what we need from people, it seems like there's some work to do. And I know for me, if I got to do paperwork, forget about it. It's not happening. It's just not happening. It just seems very overwhelming.
Yes.
Trying to figure out how I want to communicate with you and then, how you're talking to me and is this going to work? It just seems so overwhelming. How do we kind of combat that feeling?
Because you can always think of like, what's the worst that could happen? So if every time I run into a block where I have to explain myself more or I have to adapt or figure out what the other person is coming at more, if I think I'm going to avoid and just go into my bubble and I'm going to start over again, you're going to be starting over again a lot. So always thinking about the end result. And sometimes people will show you that this is not a path that I want to continue on. Our communication styles will never be able to have a meeting. So therefore, I need to kind of walk away from it. But I do think that we give up very, very quickly. And yes, it does take work. And once again, the instantaneous lifestyle, we want it to happen and to be fixed and to be okay really fast. And it doesn't happen that way. It will take looking into yourself and working on that, which is something great to work on in therapy and that alone time. When you are sitting by yourself and you're thinking about what are the goals or what are the qualities in a person that I want for a friend, for a partner, and those things, and then being able to check off that list as you're meeting them. And then maybe coming back and saying, is this realistic?
Yeah. We're going to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about, I don't know if people have seen, I don't know if I'm saying this right, loneliness influencers. And I want to say influencer because they do have a large following. And these are people who say they don't have any friends. And this is interesting. There are a lot of people who are experiencing this as adults. So we'll kind of talk through that and experiencing loneliness and how do you make friends as an adult? We're spoiled. We've been together for over 20 years. So we're spoiled. But there are some people who have not been able to make those connections. So we'll kind of talk through that when we come back with more. Here's the thing. Welcome back to Here's the Thing. Dr. Vashonda Eason, LCSW, joining us today. We're talking about communication and how all of that works through pretty much your whole life. You need it for work. You need it for your romantic relationships. You need it for your friendships as well. And one thing I feel like we all share, like in our friend group, is the fact that we have been friends for so long. Like we have been friends for over 20 years. And that is just the hugest blessing in my life. There's 6, 7 of us. And we roll pretty tight, even though some of us don't live here locally, we still roll pretty tight. But I'm finding, and I'm sure you've seen it too, there are people, of course, it could be due to a lot of things. But if you have moved here, you know, for work or whatever, and, you know, you don't know anybody. Now it's like, here I am, an adult, and I don't know anybody. I don't have a friend group here. And I've heard a lot of people say, as an adult, it's difficult to find friends. And this is not just people who are single. I've even heard couples say that it's hard to find kind of like their people, you know, when they're new to a space.
Yes, I definitely would agree with that. And the area that we live in, we see a lot of people, a lot of transients come into Northwest Arkansas. And for us, we've been here since college. So we feel rooted in this area. And I think part of the thing that comes is as you're meeting people, you either have people who have not lived here for very long, or you have people who have been here for most of their lives. And so sometimes there can be this yearning to have friends that you're going to be able to have that long history with. And so we can be hesitant to start these new relationships with people because it's like, well, you didn't know me when I was, 19 and figuring it out.
Right.
And it's okay to start now. And that's a hard thing for, I think, people to come over.
Sure. I want to play a video. I mentioned that there are some people on social media, and again, I don't know if I'm coining this right, but loneliness influencers. And these are people who are adults, but don't have friends. So this particular one, her name is Sarah Jane. She's over in the UK. Her Instagram is called Drama Free Diaries. And so her account is based on kind of like her day to day and what her life looks like not having any friends. So I'm going to cue that up and we'll listen to it and then come back. And I hope I hit the right video because sometimes I don't. Bam.
Why is making friends as an adult so bloody hard? I don't have a single friend, and trust me, it is harder to find a friend as an adult than it is to find an emotionally stable and financially secure man these days. Like, is Bumble BFF basically Tinder for people we want to go to the garden centre with? I think I have a plan to find out, but I'm going to need your help. I have been posting about not having friends for a few months now, and it turns out that this experience is way more universal than any of us realise. But we all keep coming back to the same question. If we want to find friends as an adult, where do we even start? So here's the plan. I'm telling you because somehow over the last few months, you've become the people that I tell. Like I'm sending voice notes into the group chat. Because, like a good friend, will keep me accountable when I inevitably try to back out and bottle it. I am calling this project, If I Die, Delete My Notes app. The journey to finding just one future best friend in a lonely world. We figure out how you actually find that one friend that you would trust with a code to your phone and access to your notes app. Here's where I'm going to need your help. I know I'm going to regret saying this, but I'm going to do the awkward bit, the walking into rooms where I don't know anyone and trying out new hobbies. But you need to tell me, where do I even start? I like cats, cleaning, true crime, running, but slowly and preferably with cake at the end, chatting but not texting, and absolutely do not expect me to pick up a call from an unknown number. There's only one rule. Everything has to be drama-free. Let's see if we can work this friendship thing out together. Why is making friends as an adult so
Okay, so, and I want to preference, this is, of course, judgment-free zone, but this is the reality for some people. To me, and my question is to you, okay, she mentions, hey, I know that there's some people who are also kind of in this kind of situation like me. My brain is like, oh, well, then why don't you all just get together and just be friends? But it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. And what stuck out to me was when she said, I want a best friend and I want someone who I can, if I die, this is what you do kind of thing. And so you are looking for that deep connection that I just talked about, that somebody that's known you for a long time. And so we talked about a couple of segments ago too, like the dating pool and how we have this checklist. And it's like, as soon as they don't meet that, we mark them off and we start over. And so what would happen if we were going to some of these places? Like, they have the cat cafe. She said she loves cats. So you go to these different places. You're going to a dance class. You're meeting people there. We're not looking for a best friend. We're looking for social time and connections with some women. And then out of that, lo and behold, your best friend had been there the whole time and you didn't even realize it. So maybe just opening yourself up to some group engagement and then meeting a couple of people and then seeing where it goes.
So one thing she said is, I'm just trying to figure out where to start. And that may be the question for a lot of people. It seems like too, not to settle, but maybe start at the bottom and say, I am looking for someone to have a connection with. And then if that just so happens to grow into my best friend, then cool. Because if we start out and say, I need a best friend, but in my mind, a best friend means like we go way back. Well, I know I'm not going to necessarily get that from somebody I just met. Maybe then I've already maybe set myself up a little bit.
Yes. Expectations, we set them high. And then as soon as someone doesn't meet it or we can't find it, then we start to go back and recluse and pull away. Yep. So if I'm looking for a husband, not just looking to date and to have a good time and to get to know people, but I'm looking for a husband, I'm going to be making sure you're financially fit. Who cares if you are working your way up a promotion and you will be there in 5 years when we're actually getting married? I need to see those things now because that's when I'm wanting in a husband. And so same thing with the best friend. I'm looking for somebody that I can trust with my life. Okay. So we need to get to know them. It's going to take some time before we get there and get to know several people in order to find that.
Yeah. And I feel like that can also transition into work. You know, I'm looking for a job that pays well with benefits. Yeah. Girl, all of us.
Yes. Same.
That is all of us. But understanding too, you know, there could be a couple of steps that we need to go through to kind of get there. If people are, I've seen speed dating, and I'm sure there's like speed kind of make a friend. Let's say we've met someone and we're like, I vibe with you. We're at this event, a lot of people around us. After we leave, what is next? If I feel like I want to establish a little something.
Yes. So I would make a date before you leave. Just say the next time, hey, let's go ahead and exchange numbers. I would love to have coffee with you on Friday morning. Like, go ahead and try to make that next step of doing something. And so don't leave that meeting without a plan for how you're going to get together the next time.
Okay. Do you find that people are like,
oh, yes,
I have to make that move?
Yes. Yes. And people, I know I've had several people sitting across from me, like roll their eyes at me when I'm like, say it, just say your intentions. Like, it's okay. They're probably thinking the same thing or don't have, the confidence to say the same thing. Like, what's the worst that could happen? They'll say no. And you'd be like, okay. And then we can deal with that. We can process that. But not putting yourself out there, not even trying, that's going to be a harder thing to process through.
Yeah. And I like the fact that, this particular woman, she does recognize like, yeah, I'm working through some things. She actually shares a couple of things that she's been through. Some of her, there's some trauma involved, kind of why she's kind of backed off. But just recognizing in yourself, okay, I realize that I'm here in my life, but I want to. I want to be able to, get back out there and meet people. How big of a difference does trust make?
Ooh, so, trust is very important, but I think there's levels to it. So what are we trusting someone with? If we go somewhere, can I trust that you're not going to take money out of my purse if I go to the bathroom and leave it? Can I trust that if you see an uncomfortable thing happening, that you're going to come and help me out and stand in the way or keep me safe in that way? Do I trust loaning you, tens of thousands of dollars and that you're going to actually pay me back? So I think we can't put a blanket statement of, I need to trust you. We need to put some value to the things that we're starting to build that trust back. If I tell you that we're going to meet up, I'm going to know that you're going to show up, or you're going to tell me you're going to call me. If you can't call me, we can't have that conversation. You're going to text me, be like, hey, something came up. Those are small building blocks to being able to trust someone.
Yeah. Why do you think our friendship group works?
Because we were babies.
I know.
We were babies. I recognize that we have done a very good job of accepting everyone for who they are and all of their nuances, even when it's something that would get on our nerves. There's me and another one. We break up every year, but if something push comes to shove and she needs me, I'm there.
Yeah.
So we kind of know, we know each other well enough to be able to do that and love each other enough to get through all of that.
I'll also say we will fight you.
Oh, don't come for them.
We will fight you. We will roll up on you.
You get.
Listen, I'll take my glasses and my eyelashes off and...
Yes, I have seen her pull earrings off. Nothing happened, but I've seen her do that.
Gotta stay ready because you just Never know.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And we're known for that. I feel like people see our friendships in the community and they're like, oh my gosh, y'all are part of that group. Yeah, we've been doing this in Northwest Arkansas for a little too long.
A long time. So long that, look, we remember when there was no Pinnacle Mall, when there was no Embassy, when, all the frills and things that people are enjoying right now. We remember when the campus was like bare bones. Now there's like buildings in every kind of green space. Like,
yes,
we've been in this thing for a minute.
Still kicking myself for not buying land in Rogers when I had the chance. Man, like that could have been us.
That could have been. It still could be. It's
just more expensive
gonna
now.
cost us in this economy. If people wanted to take away, if you wanted people to take away kind of like one little nugget about communication just across every aspect of their lives, what nugget would that be?
Listen, active listening. Turn those notifications off. Now we have them in our brain. It doesn't just come up on our phones. It comes up in our brains where we just are constantly thinking about all the things that we have to do instead of listening to the person that is sitting across from us. So let's work on those listening skills.
Work on those listeners. What'd you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'll text it to you later so then you'll remember.
Right. Or DM me my Instagram so I can remember what you said. Earlier we talked about are there really like valued friendships if kind of the extent of your relationship is just kind of texting? For instance, I have a friend, and I do consider her a friend. She lives in South Africa. We met years ago before Book Talk was a thing. Right. We bonded over books. So our extent of our relationship, of course, because she doesn't even live in our country, is through messaging. Like that's how we connect and catch up. But I still consider that like she's my friend.
Yes, I think you can have a friend in that way. Remember, we used to have the pen pals too.
That's true.
I've known and heard stories of people being able to remain friends with someone through a pen pal relationship that they've never met. And it's such a great thing, like if they do ever get to meet. But I think that it is possible because things happen, long distance happens, and you can still keep that connection going. You're having your regular contact. You can trust them with certain things. And so that's who you are venting to and talking to about that. So yes, you're continuing that communication, which is building a relationship.
It's funny because even for us here at the station, we're like, we work in communication, but we feel like we're terrible communicators. And I'm like, you are so right. Like, I can't count how many like emails that I've forgotten to send people to tell them stuff. And I feel terrible. Any tools that people can use? Like, is there any books that you recommend or any apps that you think are helpful for people?
Oh, this is one of the hardest questions for me because I always tell people, like, when it comes to books, I read for fun. And so I try, especially after doing my dissertation, like everything I'm reading has to be fun things. And so as far as I would say for communication, I'm going to definitely be the old school one that you are going to just make sure that you are making an effort, set yourself a reminder if you need to reach out and check in on somebody on a regular basis, if you know that you're apt to forgetting to do that, and then and creating a routine for yourself. I feel like that's what keeps us consistent and engaged.
And that seems a little bit easier than it was, when we were first becoming friends, because all we had was like our planner that we had to write in. And if you forgot, then you forgot. Now it's like, oh, Siri, set me a reminder for 10 a.m. Oh, Siri's like, oh, what girl? What do you want?
Yes.
So it's like ping, ping, ping.
Yes. So I know that, and this is a frequent thing, me and Jackie would always talk when I am in the car rider line. I know that she's leaving work and I'm going to be sitting for an hour. So that's when we have our conversations and we catch up on things. So it's just things like that. My dance mom best friend, we know we drop off at 4:00. We're going to sit in that parking lot for another 30, 45 minutes talking about where we are with things. So just kind of find that routine that you're able to do to take that time to keep that communication going, and relationships build.
I love how you also said earlier, trying to make a particular friend group be there across the board. And while that can happen, it doesn't necessarily need to.
And I will say too, we have to be careful about, because I have a dance mom bestie and we spend most of our weekends together from January to May, that doesn't mean that my dance mom bestie has to come to our usual dinners and our usual times. And so sometimes we are trying so hard to integrate everybody, all of our friendships into this friendship we've had for a long time. And I think that sometimes that can do some damage to the individual relationships, because then it's almost like an unsaid competition, but they've known you since you were 19 and their kids call you auntie. And so we have to be careful about that. It's okay to leave a friendship in that space that it started in.
Sure. That's interesting too. Trying to mix friend groups. Oh, that's a doozy.
Yeah, I'm known to be the no new friends.
Yes. But here we are still. I made it. Yeah. Like people make the posts, if you can see this post, then congratulations. You made it into the next round of my friend group here on Facebook. Yes. It's like, hey, okay.
Yes, I made it. I'm
excited. Thanks so much, guys. Real quick before we wrap today. And this has really nothing to do with what we talked about, but I always love to do a little pop culture chat. What's happening? What's happening? Give us the rundown.
So
you're more dialed into it than I am these days.
I mean, right now, my obsession is, of course, the Real Housewives. So
which season?
Escaped. So Potomac is my jam. Okay. But they don't start until early fall. So right now we've got Real Housewives Girl Trip, and it is the 20th anniversary. Why did you do this to me? This is the 20th anniversary of Real Housewives, and so they are doing a tour of all of the different locations. Okay. And so they have been in OC and Beverly Hills, and next week's episode they're going to Atlanta. So I'm super excited. All of the ex housewives have been coming back on the episodes, and they try to do or pay homage to a certain scene that just they had a party, a leather pants party. Somebody was talking about somebody's leather pants, and Kyle had her famous white party. And so I am loving everything about it. And then Housewives of Atlanta just wrapped up, and listen, talk about friends.
Is Nene back?
No. Oh, Nene does show up on the beginning of the girls' trip, and she will be on the episode. But Nene says she ain't coming back full time for y'all.
I don't believe it.
She ain't doing it.
I don't believe it. The money. Show her the money.
I would love
Come on,
it.
Andy.
I think Atlanta would benefit from having her come back. I'm still a little iffy on some of these new ones. But
okay. What else are you watching?
I'm just catching up on the Valley because I am waiting for Summer House, which I guess is not coming back. They pulled me in with all of the drama between the relationship drama. Sierra, I love Sierra.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So with the whole relationship drama with Sierra and Wes, I had to go start from the beginning so I could watch it. Sorry, yes, my daughter watches these with me. And so we've been waiting for the new Summer House to pop up, and I just don't know if it's going to come back. There's no announcement.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so.
This is what I'm watching. Hallmark Channel.
Of course you are.
No, actually, I'm trying to catch up on House of the Dragon.
Okay.
Because I'm way behind. Way behind. It's because if you know, in the first 2 episodes, literally I'm devastated. How can I return when I'm mourning?
See, that's why I had to stop all of the complicated plot lines, but then I can't go through all of the emotions.
I am still mourning. Again, if you know, also though, I am thinking about going back, and I was actually talking to Raymond the other day. Remember we were watching Banshee, which was so good. Mm-hmm. So I think we may do a rewatch of Banshee because we actually never finished it. And if you're not familiar with Banshee, it used to come on years ago. It was about this cop who comes back to his hometown where he's from. He's been gone for quite some time. And just all the shenanigans in this small little town. There's murder, mayhem, all kinds of things happening. But it is so good. So many twists and turns. So I've been thinking about maybe revisiting that, and I also need to catch up with Paradise.
Oh, it's good.
I'm way behind on that too. What I've been doing is watching, if they have official podcasts, watching the episodes and then also listening to the podcast. It just helps me kind of better retain and understand what I'm looking at, especially when it comes to Game of Thrones, because that's a whole kind of, world that I don't understand. And then Paradise too, because sometimes I miss Easter eggs.
Yes.
So those are really good to kind of pick out the Easter eggs. So
see, you're multitasking while you're paying attention, watching it. So it's communicating something to us, and we're not picking up on all of the signs.
That's true.
Because we're not listening.
That's true. I am kind of scrolling and see. Communication.
Communication.
It impacts everything.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Sean, Dr. Vashonda, for coming back
Bestie.
on Here's the Thing. We appreciate you. And guys out there, don't forget the only way that you can watch shows like Here's the Thing and the other shows from our KNWA and Fox 24 teams is you download our 479 First streaming channel. It is free. It is available on most smart TVs. So there you will find shows like Here's the Thing. All of us have our own digital shows with exclusive content. You can also watch our newscasts live and get breaking news alerts. I will see you next week. It's been a long time since I've had the chance to say that. So I will see you next week. Until then, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.